ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all of your sports books and track all of your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You can also sign up for sportsbooks and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as they're the best account on the platform. Head to the App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire to download the app. Hey sports fans, are you ready for an exhilarating gaming experience? Introducing VIPClub.lv, your ultimate online sportsbook and casino. VIPClub.lv offers a vast selection of sports, from football and basketball to tennis and baseball. Bet on your favorite teams and enjoy the thrill of the game. But that's not all. Our state-of-the-art online casino offers a dazzling array of games, including slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer tables. Win big with their fantastic promotions, rewards, and exclusive offers. Join VIPClub.lv today and get a generous 100% match welcome bonus to start your winning streak. Make sure to use code ECSI at sign-up. Bet it, win it, and cash it at VIPClub.lv. Visit VIPClub.lv now and play responsibly. VIPClub.lv, your sportsbook and casino extravaganza. Must be 21 or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Visit gambleware.org for help. From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell for Monday, January 8th. And if you are here, you are most likely here for one thing and one thing only, potentially some recap of the weekend, I guess. Don't want to shy away from that. But obviously, it is Championship Monday here in college football. Washington and Michigan, we will talk about that plenty here on this short Monday evening show here. I will be rocking solo with you today. Outside of that, just a quick preview of what we're going to be talking about. Got a few NBA games that I'll break down. Maybe save that for last after the meat and potatoes if everyone wants to stay for the big stuff, obviously, and get some of that action. Not too much college basketball going on. There are some mid-major games, but nothing really worth watching. We're talking about the big boys. Taking a back seat for college football tonight for all those. Trying to watch that game, obviously. And aside from that, there's not too much else going on in tonight's world of sports going on tonight. As I mentioned, probably doing a little recapping. But first, got to give condolences to everyone in the Pop DiBiase family. I did not have the pleasure of knowing him personally, a friend of mine personally, but Jeff Dawson, obviously, if you follow ECSI, know that Jeff Dawson did at least once a week shows, if not more than that with him. Became a good friend of his. So that is pretty devastating news. As I said, prayers go out to his family and friends and everyone else involved with his life. That was very unexpected and obviously has left us in a grieving state as far as that is concerned. So I want to give a shout out for condolences there and prayers up to his family there. So aside from that, I mean, in his honor, he would want nothing more for us than to trudge on and pile on with some great college football talk on tonight's game here. So we will do just that, my friends. Aside from that, out of the NFL, obviously, Week 18 shakes out. For the most part, nothing too crazy. Obviously, last night's game, a big one. Dolphins slide back to the 6th seed. Will head to Kansas City. Avoid the can't capitalize on bringing somebody into 70-degree heat down in Miami, and they got to go. From what I hear, I know in the Midwest and Central or in Northern Illinois, it's going to be 10 degrees on Sunday, but I think something like that is also in order for Kansas City. So don't know if we're going to get any snow, but hopefully for the Dolphins' sake, they can keep some offense and heat traveling with them, because otherwise it's going to be pretty damn frigid. Bills obviously host the Steelers as a 2 seed there. It's going to get their own version of some goofy weather, I know. So my Packers, obviously, as you see on my chest, get the win there. They will be heading to Dallas. Should be a potentially good game there. Obviously, plenty of a storied matchup between the Packers and Cowboys there. We get the Lions versus Matt Stafford. Stafford revenge game, Jared Goff revenge game. I think it's more of a Jared Goff revenge game than anything. Stafford was granted a trade and won a Super Bowl, so not really a revenge factor from him. He gets a nice homecoming, but I would say Jared Goff, a little revenge factor from his sake. So I'm very excited for that one. I'm very excited for all these games. Houston and Cleveland could be a good one as well. So we'll talk about those games as the week goes on. I think really the only other thing to mention as far as yesterday, and maybe I'm drawing a blank on a couple things, but obviously the Eagles, even further into rock bottom. Now they've got to go, and if they won, it wouldn't have made a difference, but now they got to go with the rock bottom in the rear view, heading to Tampa to play the Tampa Bay Bucks on Monday Night Football next week. And aside from that, the Lions playing all their guys and Sam Laporta going down obviously is a tough look for. Obviously, that's the MO of Dan Campbell. Obviously, he's going to has gotten some heat for it as far as that is concerned. But that's the MO of Dan Campbell. You go 100 miles an hour all the time, and they wanted to, hurt their division rival. Chance for a 2 seed. I didn't quite agree with it all the way down to the damn last play of the game that they had Jared Goff in. I would have been okay with it for maybe a quarter or a half or something, but a little, obviously concerning for the Lions to potentially not have Sam Laporta there. And like I said, aside from that, nothing too crazy going on. Cowboys take down the Commanders pretty easily there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tonight's action. Only a couple of hours away, 2.5 hours away in Houston from kickoff here. You've got the Michigan Wolverines in my beloved Big Ten going up against the Washington Huskies, will assume to be in my beloved Big Ten. But Michigan, 5-point favorites, 5.5-point favorites, depending on what book you're looking at. 56 on the game total in most spots here. And obviously, this one has been a tough one to call. I don't think there's not a lot of people who have a hard stance on this game. I think a lot of people agree with what this number is looking like, 5 right now. I want to say the look-ahead line was a little bit higher than that. The opening line was down at 4.5. It has now climbed a little bit. But you've obviously got both teams undefeated. Washington taking down Texas 37-31 last week on New Year's Day. Michigan obviously taking down Alabama in the Rose Bowl 27-20. Good matchups there. Now you get a little bit of a different clash as far as those opponents are concerned that they played last time. So I'm a little torn on what I think is going to happen in this one, if I'm being totally honest with you. I do think the total is a little inflated with this one, with a over in a championship game with two teams who, Michigan obviously has a solid defense, but obviously you've got a Washington offensive attack that's flying high. You've got a Michigan all-around offense that's working really well. Rushing attack, obviously fantastic. So I think the total is a little inflated in this one. Could it go flying over? Sure. But I do think it is a little inflated. So I'm not going to be heading to the over. I'm not saying I'm cannonballing into the under, but I personally do think it could be a little lower scoring than this total is giving you credit for. Team totals, 30.5 for the most part is consensus, I believe, here for Michigan. Juiced over in a lot of spots I do see here. Washington, on the other hand, 24.5 juice under, so you can get a decent value on Washington over 24.5. I know I just said I think it could be higher scoring or lower scoring than that game total. I think Michigan can win this game without getting to that 30-point mark. That's the interesting thing about these numbers here, and so that's another. I'm definitely not diving into that Michigan team total over. Definitely not diving into Washington team total under. With the old our kind of MO here in a lot of senses with these football games, when you have a 24.5 number, a lot of people would shade towards they land exactly at 24 and it falls under. So I don't think a terrible look. If you are expecting some points, maybe go over to Washington team total as opposed to the full game or Michigan if you are expecting some points. I think that's a decent look right there. You have a Washington offense that's probably facing one of, if not their toughest defensive test of the entire season. They've obviously been really, really successful, and their biggest faltering spots is with some bad weather. I know. I want to say it was Julian Edlow on these airwaves talking about that, how Washington's biggest struggles have been in some nasty weather outdoor games. So you do get that factor of some nice weather here indoors, obviously, against a Michigan team who, depending on what your views are of the Big Ten as a whole, they've obviously the last handful of games, obviously 20 points to Alabama, had the overtime shutout Iowa. Before that, 3-game stretch of Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State. They handled Penn State really well. I think Michael Penix is a better quarterback than they've seen all year long. That's the interesting wrinkle about this for me, and it's kind of why I'm hesitating. Where I do think Michigan is the better team here, but you have a Washington attack where obviously you can look at Ohio State. They had Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyle McCord is not Michael Penix Jr. by any stretch. So I do think that Michael Penix could do plenty of things for Washington to do enough in this game and stay within one score and potentially have a chance as it comes down to it. I don't think this is going to be a blowout either which way by any means. I do think this is going to be a good one here. So I'm not jumping into the deep end here with Michigan. I think if I'm doing anything, as much as I said, I'm shading towards the under on the full game. That might be what I do here, but that Washington 24.5, you could have a 27-24 Michigan victory, or 27-24 Washington victory, Michigan victory, and Washington comes right around that 24.5 total. Obviously, if they land at 24, they're falling under, but could get to 27-24. And that's still staying under that total, and it's probably a really damn good game there. So this one is obviously tough to call. If you feel very strongly one way or another on any of these, then I think that is what you have to do. But if you're, kind of toss up and you don't know what to make of this thing, then peel the onion back a little bit and try to find some value here. But at the end of the day, I think this is an inflated total on the full game total. You could have, even if Michigan's rushing attack is working well, then that might drain the clock quite a bit here and take suck some of the life out of this game and keep it, make it a lot tougher for this one to go over the game total of 56 there. So I am kind of leaning towards the one play that I'm interested in being the under 56 on this one. I know that's probably not fun for anyone who's an over better, but at the end of the day, I think this one is a little inflated. I think it should be closer to that 52, 53 mark as far as a full game total here. So I don't want to close it out there and be done with it. Obviously, it's a big game that everyone's here for. So as far as touchdown scorers, let me pull up some props here. Obviously, your Blake Corums are going to be pretty damn hard to get into there, and you're going to have to try and if you think Blake Corum's going to go off, probably going to be expecting 2 touchdowns, but I'm not someone who's interested in doing that too much. As I said, he is crazy for 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns plus 130. Not really interested in doing that there. Rome Odunze minus 115 as the Washington leader for touchdown odds there. So I'm going to go, I like especially in a situation where you've got a fantastic backup running back. You know how I am in a lot of senses with the backup running backs. Donovan Edwards at plus 180 I think is a decent look if you think Michigan's rushing attack is going to work well and you don't want to pay the tax on I'm sure no one wants to pay the tax on Blake Corum just to score 1 touchdown. Even if you don't want to assume he scores 2, you get 1 for Donovan Edwards at plus 180 and you're in good shape there. Outside of that, a Michigan defensive touchdown at plus 310 seems kind of crazy that it's that low, but you could have Washington if they need to take the lead in this game trying to air it out, or if they're behind in this game and they're going to be a little desperate trying to air it out a little bit. So that does seem a little low there. Maybe a Michael Penix touchdown. Obviously, he doesn't run as much as he used to, but 380 is not a terrible look there. But aside from that, I might be interested. Even Roman Wilson, not a bad look as well. So as far as any props out of this game, passing touchdowns for J.J. McCarthy, over 1.5 plus 110. Obviously, everyone's thinking rush, but they could get him all the way down the red zone. He tosses a couple passes himself there. Obviously, I'm leaning towards the under, so that might be not my favorite pick there. But passing yards, Michael Penix, 292.5. That one, obviously, if he's got to air it out and they're behind in the game, that one could be a big one there. But I'm going to go and shade on that one being inflated and lean towards his under passing yards, as well as most likely, again, I'm not trying to be a party pooper on anyone here. Rome Odunze, 89.5. Seems a little seems a little lower than it should be there, so I might even be shading towards the under on Rome Odunze. Michigan could try and take him out of the game entirely there. So I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I really am not. Things could work great for either of these teams. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at here and what I'm seeing. So I don't have a ton of love for anything that's slamming the over on a lot of these props here. So I'm kind of backing off a little bit, leaning towards the under, leaning towards some under on maybe Michael Penix touchdowns. And if you are dying, there is going to be some points scored in this one. Don't get me wrong. But if you're doing that, I think you're going to see me with some Donovan Edwards action out of the anytime touchdown scorer category, my friends. So if anyone obviously has any questions, any thoughts themselves, go ahead and jump on over to the comment section over there. And let me know. And if I step away from this for a second and you hop in there, I will happily jump right back over to it. But I'm going to go, as far as my prediction, I'll go 24-23 Michigan. I'll go 24-23 Michigan. Like I said, I 24.5 for over for Washington, is kind of a telling you something right there. But I did say I lean towards this game total being lower. So I'm going to go 24-23 Michigan and it being a close game. But this one could go a lot of different ways. I don't even know if I have someone that I'd say I'd be rooting for if I don't have any bets on this game here tonight. So I'm hoping for some fun. I'm hoping for some action. Hoping for it, even if it's a 24-23 game and it goes under and everyone's slamming the over, that's still a fun game. Obviously not if you've got plenty of stake in the over, but I think you know what I mean there. So let's have some fun tonight. Enjoy the finale of college football. Has been a fantastic season. Embrace the changes that are coming with, obviously, one staring us in the face with Washington coming over to the Big Ten tonight, and the 12-team playoff on the horizon as well. And obviously, in addition to Washington coming over, a lot of conference changing. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be exciting, and we're going to have plenty of talk about going into next year. So we'll probably be back. I want to say I know I agreed to Jeff that I would be back here tomorrow. However, the Midwest is about to be slammed by, or at least where I'm at, is going to be slammed by some rough snow and wind. So not sure if I'll be available from that regard because of some rough internet situation there, but I will be trying, hopefully back here tomorrow to talk about this game before we end the college football season here at ECSI. So going over to NBA real quick, and then we'll get out of here. A few games. Now, this is another situation where you have 3 or 4 games that kind of stood out to me as some fishy numbers, some teams that you would expect to roll through some bad teams, or maybe not bad teams, but a very, very good team rolling over a slightly above average team that I'll talk about in a second. But I kind of take these, like this NBA slate, for example, with a grain of salt when the entire sports world that typically might be interested in NBA evening slate like this on a random Monday, the majority of people are very, very much more interested in college football game tonight, obviously. So I don't think you can look at these the exact same way as you would any random Monday night because you have just different consumer behavior if you're looking at it from that lens here. So I'll have some numbers that I think are a little fishy that you might need to be aware of a certain favorite team or something along those lines. But you do have to look at it. In my opinion, my experience is much, much shorter than a lot of people that come on these airwaves. But whenever there's a massive event like this, and a league like the NBA is the clear second fiddle, by far the second fiddle, even third fiddle, depending on what else is going on, if anyone cares. There's obviously a few NHL games as well. You can kind of apply it there, but NHL is obviously a little more niche fan base. But I've always felt like you can't look at it the exact same way you would any random weekday when you have a situation like this. But without further ado, my Bulls being one of them, -6.5 at Charlotte. Bulls obviously playing much, much better the last few weeks. Still under 500, 16-21. Zach LaVine, I want to say he's questionable tonight. He did come back against Charlotte a few nights ago. Don't know his status on tonight, but the Bulls obviously played a lot better as soon as he went down. Came back, they're 1-0 with him. So obviously it matters, but you know what I mean, where the Bulls were playing a lot better with him. So I don't think the average person cares as much about that. But you have a Bulls team, like I said, playing a lot better. Just beat the Hornets at home by 13, 104-91. Ugly offensive showing from the Hornets. They've been losing a lot of games in a row. They've been having a lot of games as some massive, massive spreads. So to only see this one down at 6.5 after they just lost by 13 to this exact team that's playing a lot better, and this Charlotte team is struggling, is pretty darn concerning for my Bulls, in my opinion. On an average night, like I said, I think you should just stay away altogether, in my opinion. But I would certainly beware of the Chicago Bulls on the road in Charlotte tonight. This one does look a little goofy. I don't think it's going to be as simple as the Bulls handing it to this Charlotte Hornets team. They've had a lot of success against these Hornets lately. the last few years, but they typically also do have some really, really good games against this Hornets team in Charlotte as well. So just beware of the Bulls tonight is all I'm saying from that front. Another team that I think you could want to be aware of is the Celtics on the road in Indy, only -3 favorites. The Pacers, a team that's just not playing as well. They had a nice streak. They had a rough patch after obviously a great start. They won 4 of their last 5, just lost to Boston as 7-point dogs in Indy. They're in Indy. You do have Jason Tatum out tonight, so obviously this is a goofy one that you need to be watching for. So you've got the Celtics -3 without Jason Tatum after having just lost to this Pacers team. So this one is obviously a little goofy here. And 4 points for Jason Tatum when you still have a team that is very, very good without him. Obviously need him to go where they want to go. But this one still feels a little I don't know if fishy is the right word, but shouldn't be as easy. I should still be higher than this, in my opinion, if the Celtics were going to take care of business after just beating them 118-101. So I'm a little interested in this Pacers team tonight. Again, don't love going into the second game of a situation like this, 2 teams playing each other. I don't think it's back-to-back nights necessarily, but back-to-back games. They played on Saturday evening. Not my favorite thing in the world, unless I had a preconceived plan of if the Celtics lose this game, then I'm diving into the Celtics, yada, yada. If you don't have that and you're trying to just figure out what's going to go on in the second game, you're better off just staying away. But at least felt a little fishy despite the Tatum out status for this one here in Indy. The other one was Utah and Milwaukee. Milwaukee 8-point favorites at home here against Utah. Milwaukee 25-11 at home against this Utah team who has been playing a heck of a lot better lately, but still a little fishy here for a Milwaukee team. They haven't been playing as good lately, but obviously typically against an under 500 team at home, you're seeing 9.5, if not double-digit spreads here. So this one was at least one to watch out for. Even with Damian Lillard out, I know he's out tonight, but you still have a Giannis and company team that should want to take care of business even without him. So this one did feel a little fishy, although there's some injury situations there. But again, as I said at the start, you have to take all of this with a grain of salt, with not being your average Monday night in the NBA when the entire world is more focused on the college football game. You have a different pool of people betting on these NBA games. That kind of changes the outlook a little bit from that perspective. So just take it with a grain of salt. Don't go cannonballing into the deep end with the NBA if you're trying to have that on the side of the college football game or just in general. If that's what you're doing and you don't care about college football, still got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt tonight, in my opinion. So that is all I've got for you here tonight, my friends. After today, we will have a much better college basketball slate going forward. I want to say tomorrow is if not tomorrow, Wednesday is a really solid slate. No top 25 games today. I don't know if there's any Power 5 teams in action today. So obviously, if you're interested for some college basketball, I think you could find some, but none that I'm interested in talking about here tonight, my friends. So without further ado, if you have not already, please go check out WagerWire. Download the app, go over and follow them on X, formerly Twitter there, and get yourself educated on what they can do for you and what you can do with their services there. So please go over and download that app. They are fine people over there, have been great partners to us. So please go ahead and do so if you have not done that already. But without further ado, go ahead and enjoy this damn game tonight. Hopefully it is an all-time classic. I am looking forward to this one. Can't wait to watch this one. I'm going to grab my popcorn for sure. Again, I told you I didn't have everything. I don't have a laundry list of things that I'm interested in tonight, but just pump the brakes. I don't know that it's going to be the fireworks that some people are expecting it to be. Could I be eating my words? Absolutely, and I will do that tomorrow if that is the case. Weather permitting, of course. I've got some rough snowstorms cut in my way. But aside from that, thank you all for stopping by. It was a fun 25, 30 minutes here, 20 minutes or so. Always short and sweet when we're doing solos, my friend, and a short slate out of the college football, outside of the college football game there. So we'll have more to talk about tomorrow, recapping this game. I believe I will be back with Jeff Dawson as long as weather permitting, internet permitting tomorrow. Probably talking a little NFL this past weekend, as well as looking ahead to the playoffs here, as well as the rest of the week there, and of course some college basketball in between. So stay tuned for everything in line with that, and obviously the updates on what shows you got. Obviously some goofy weather all over the country, so availability can always be a little finicky there. So thank you all for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and stop blabbing, and I'll get out of here. Hope you all enjoy the game, and best of luck if you've got anything going on, my friends.